Welcome to the Support Exchange. The first thing that I wanted to talk about is something that was really deeply disturbing to me. There was a video circulating about a woman in Chicago and her child who were jumped. And when I look at that situation from a psychological view, it makes me think, what are those kids missing? What is going on in the environment? Culturally, what has happened or what have they been exposed to for them to think that that is okay? And to view them, it appears like they don't have a moral compass. When we think of a moral compass, it is really the norms and values and how you feel, what has influenced you over your lifetime. That can be religious beliefs, family, community, and how they shape how you overall react to certain situations. So for me, at a young age, I remember having a very deep feeling. I remember feeling toward individuals that I didn't know. When I would see someone and I would feel if they were outside, if they were on the street, or if they were asking for money. And that was often where I grew up because I grew up in low income, impoverished areas. Being in that area, I would always say, Mom, can we give the money? Or Mom, is this going on? How can we help them? Even though we needed help ourselves. But we were a religious family. Christian values. My father was also Catholic. My mom was Christian, so it was a lot different. But overall, it taught me to be a good person and to wish the best for people. So as I grew up, I went through bullying, so many things that were difficult for me. And yes, hurt people. And I went through a stage where I wanted to kind of fight back. And absolutely, that did occur. But no matter what, I never wanted ill will toward anyone. So if I saw someone hurting, I wanted to support them. Seeing that, it made me feel as if they were desensitized. They lack any type of support where they felt this was wrong. Not one person, not one child in that instance stopped or tried to intervene. Everyone was a follower. Everyone wanted to be seen, wanted to be liked. The fact that it was recorded made me feel as if they wanted to get likes and shares because ultimately it's wrong. So why would you record something that's wrong? Because when I was younger, if we did something that we should not have done, never to that effect. You're going to hide it. You're going to try to get away with it. And they were exposing the things that they were doing. And that exposure led me to believe that's another issue that we don't deal with, which is social media. Having reoccurring features and being able to see violence at such high levels, which our kids, young kids are seeing at alarming rates, means that it is creating this desensitization. They no longer feel empathy because they are able to see these things so often. Let's look at Love and Hip Hop. Let's look at the Zeus Network, Baddies. What does that teach our kids? That if we fight, we can become celebrities, or it's cool to fight. Did you win? How much did you hurt that person? Oh, she played him. She did him dirty, or XYZ. And a lot of times it's women on women. I do see men on men where they're fighting, but when we see women fight, they're pulling hair, they're doing these things. And who are women in our society? They're nurturers. They're the people who love us, who support us. But if we see them in that respect, then we're coming into a different environment. We're emulating those things. So the women who we need to nurture us are now, in fact, acting in this way, and they're mothering in this way. So if they're in a relationship, are they seeing gentle love? Are they seeing supportive relationships? Or are they seeing yelling, arguing, fighting? So when they go to school, what are they doing in turn? Yelling, arguing, fighting, hurting people, because that's what you see. So that becomes a part of your norm. Your values are, I want to be hype. I want to be mad. I want to yell. I want to scream. I want people to fear me because if they fear me, then other people will like me. So it's teaching backwards. So unfortunately, we have a lot of things that are layering on top of each other. We have our kids not getting the support they need, the foundational support. Social media is almost raising them in a way. Just because you're in a house, you have someone paying for food, clothing, water, shelter. Love, stability, support should be a part of that foundation where you grow in that. That's how we grow. And because those things are missing, we're seeing a lot of gaps and a lot of holes in our society where there's not enough love. There's not enough communication. There's not enough time spent with the people that you love to help you grow. And just because you can be in a room with someone doesn't mean that you're spending time with them. That means you're in their vicinity, but spending time is growing, learning each other, and caring for one another. And I think the misconception is, if I'm around them, I care about them. That those two things are not the same. So when we look at being able to change some of what's going on, there honestly has to be a complete detox. When we think of detox, we think food. You may not eat, you may go on a fast. That is a level of detox. Sometimes we look at that as a spiritual detox. It can be for health reasons. All of them, honestly, are for health. But also a mental health detox absolutely includes taking away video games, social media. But what I've seen parents do, they'll take those things away, but they don't replace them with being able to learn and grow. So we're not replacing them with, okay, I took this away because you played on the game too much. You weren't around us enough. You started to become angry. So we took this away. But yet now find something to fill your time. Not let's play games together as a family. Let's do crossword puzzles. Let's do Scrabble. Let's do conversation starters where we can learn more about each other. Those things aren't occurring. So it's not replacing it. So kids just become upset. They become angry. They build resentment towards you because it's just a punishment. It's not a replacement to help understand what's more important, what's more helpful to support your overall growth. So it's unlevel. And when you take something away too long, then kids adapt and they find something else, which can be even scarier depending on what they find to fill their time. So if you really want to change behavior, instead of try to push it down for the moment and just hope it changes, because it doesn't change. You're basically putting your foot on their neck, and then as soon as you let up, they're going to go run back to what they know because it's not change. You haven't supported better practices, better what you want to see. You haven't shown them how to grow from that. So if we're looking at video game detox, okay, you're on video games too much. Let's watch a movie together as family. We all pick family game night. Let's have family dinners together. That's another topic that I can go on and on about. We do not eat meals together. We do not talk about our day enough. So that means we're not reconnecting as a family. When you reconnect, you build bonds, you build trust. I trust you, I believe you, I love you, so now I'm going to listen to you. And also, I think that kids should have a healthy fear of their parents, knowing that they love me no matter what, but they also instill values, and they don't go when it comes to certain things because disrespect is not something that's allowed. So when we're having these dinners with each other, we're growing these family bonds. When discipline occurs, we're changing the behavior by putting things in place that are more suitable for what we want to see, what we're trying to help them with, fostering growth and development. Reading. We know reading is a big issue within our community, the Black community, many communities, honestly, but definitely low reading scores in areas such as lower socioeconomic areas. But overall, after COVID, we've seen a huge decline in reading. What does that mean? You should read with your kids. A lot of parents will say, well, I tell them to go and get on the iPad, or I give them a book, or I take them to the library. But you have to do parallel learning. They have to see you. They have to want to do it. And if you do it with them, then they'll do it. Just like if your kid isn't brushing their teeth correctly, you need to either brush it for them to start, then you brush your teeth next to them. So you're modeling what you want to see. So in any facet of life, if they aren't communicating, you need to model what you want them to see. So you need to model positive communication. You need to model positive feedback. If you have an argument with your spouse or your significant other and they see that, that's okay. But it's not about the argument. It's about how, not even an argument, it should be a disagreement. Because if it gets to a level where you're arguing, that means everyone needs to step back because it's already gone too far. So if it's a disagreement and they see it, that's healthy. But they also need to see you make up. They also need to see, how do you fix something that goes wrong? You fix it by talking. You fix it by respecting the other person, by looking at them. But what do they see now? If you argue, you fight, and that's how you fix it. Or if I watch TV, I'm looking on TV. They look cool. They dress in this way. They argue and they fight. And that's how they fix it. But it's not fixing anything. It's building animosity. It's building pain. It's building anger. So then that's just holding right here until the next person that they encounter. Then they're going to get it. They say sometimes you bleed on people who never hurt you, because you're holding and carrying so much baggage with you that is going wherever you go. If you're at work, it's going to work. If you're at school, it's going to school. If you're at the park, it's going at the park. And it's going to be always a tipping point. It could be a person, it could be a specific place, or it could be a thing that tips you off. And whoever is there, that's who is going to get it. Not the person who did it, or not the person who helped build that baggage, but whoever is around you. So that's why you instill these positive chunks of growth and love and support, so wherever they are, they can pass that on. But instead, we haven't built that. We do not have those foundations set, so it's not happening. There's no way in the world, when I was younger as a millennial, I could see that and not react and not try to stop it. There's no way I would ever look at an elder that way. My in-laws, I don't even curse around them. If something did come out, I'm so sorry. Why? Because I respect my elders, because I would never allow it to happen. I look at them as people who've lived before me, that are wise, that I respect, that I love. You don't do that to people that you love. But is that something we're also missing? Foundational love, foundational respect. What does it mean to love someone? When you take care of them, when you support them, when you learn who they are, when you spend time with them. That's the biggest part. We don't spend time together as much as we used to, because now we have so many things putting a wall in between us to be able to build that natural support, which will come from time. I remember sitting in the car. We would talk in the car, or we would look out the window. We would count trees. We would look at people. So we would understand how people respond. We would see their verbal, visual cues, because we would actually be able to look at them. But now it doesn't happen. Why? Because we're looking at our phone if you're not driving. And even if you are driving, there are people who look in their phones, which is another issue. But we have to be able to reset and reconnect, because it's not happening naturally. And I'm going to say I have ownership to that as well. I love TikTok. I love social media. But because I didn't grow up with it, I know how to stop it, and I know how to make sure I put and enforce time with my family. I'll leave my phone on a different floor if I need to. I'll go put it away. I'll turn it off intentionally, because I'm intentional on making sure I connect with my family, because I don't know how long we have. I never want to say life is too short. Life is full, and life is what you make it. But it's actually what you make it. And the time that you spend doing these things is extremely important. Now, when we're going back to thinking about detoxing comes in a lot of ways. And working as a psychologist, I work with really sensitive populations, and sometimes we do a substance detox. That means if it's alcohol, if it's nicotine, whatever it is, you detox it. What does that mean? You stop it completely, because you're clearing your body of that substance. And even if it's mental, your brain has built so much storage from the visual images that you see, from what you hear, from what people say, and then sometimes you even start saying that. So think about that. When we're growing up and we get an accent, it's because we're in a certain environment where we hear things constantly. So if we're hearing certain language on what we're watching, if it's a movie, if it's a channel, if it's a video game, that becomes a part of your dialect, honestly. It becomes a part of your verbiage, because you listen to it so much, so you say these things. And just like the big 6-7 thing, it was constantly everywhere. Everyone kept saying 6-7. And then honestly, they kept saying it with a kind of a sway with it, 6-7. It was a certain way. Everyone did it. So that crossed millions of homes in a matter of days, I feel like. So everyone did, and it was consistent. So if something like that can occur, other things can as well. I just saw the 4th zip t-shirt or something, the 4th sweater zip, where boys are now trying to have a new trend, which I like it. Whoever started that trend, because that means we're dressing a different way. We're trying to be more astute. Love it. Those are trends we need to push a little bit more, but we need to also push reading trends. Reading trends are extremely important. Why can't we all read together? How about not video game, what is it called? Board game trends. or jump rope trends. I feel like I see them, but they fall off. It doesn't happen enough. I know it's getting colder outside, but what can you do to help support and bridge those things within your family? Something that I posted about on my TikTok was conversation starter cards, and those are on Amazon. The great thing is you can buy those and use them as a family when you're eating dinner. If you don't know what to talk about, pull out those conversation starter cards. There are also some about social situations. What do you do in this situation? So I would never think that my kids will be out and possibly jump a woman. That's the furthest from my mind. Do I think that will happen? No. But when it did happen, we had a very long conversation with our children about that situation because it's real life. It's happening. So let's dissect this. What do you think is going on? How could that have been prevented? What would you have done? Those are things that we need to do. And we can leverage technology. It is a tool. It is not our entire life, and we should not emphatically use it solely. But you can go to ChatGPT, Google Gemini, and say, this is what I like. These are my interests. These are my kids' interests. This is what we do on a day-to-day basis. Give us questions to talk about, to build our relationships with one another. Or my kids don't get along. This is XYZ. This is what's happening. Give me ways to build and help them connect together. You can talk about these things as a family. This can occur and it will give you a lot of good information. That's the tool. That's what it is useful for, to help build what's missing and to do it in a quicker way. So to be more efficient is extremely important. So we're going to utilize the tools we have to help us rebuild what foundationally kind of wasn't set. I like to say that it is an epidemic after the pandemic, because we lost so much connection at that time. We lost natural connection when you're in school. I work K through 12, and my favorite places to be kindergarten, sometimes first grade, but kindergarten is my absolute favorite. I feel like they still have that innocence. They still have that love for learning, the love for life, for friendship. Look at me, I can do this. Or they're just growing at such a fast pace. So they want you to see it and they want you to be a part of it. And I love every bit of that, because at some point it does stop. It does slow down. But that's it. We have to kind of get back to that. We can't just let it stop. We have to keep it going. And we have to keep it not going, but keep it growing through life. And kind of remember where you were when you were in kindergarten. Remember how happy you were to see certain people, how much you wanted to be around your mom or dad, how much you wanted to lay on them, love on them, be with them, and just be happy. Overall, it wasn't a lot of the pressures or stressors that we have now. So if we think about that time and try to reimagine what it will look like as an adult, doing the things that you love, being with the people you love, and spending time with them. Now, the last thing I'll leave you with is the biggest part of our village that we are missing, that needs to be rebuilt to help support respect, is working with and loving on and supporting and spending time with our elders. Our elders. The respect that we need to have for them occurs when we spend time with them. I remember going on the west side of Chicago, spending time with my grandmother, spending time with my grandfather. And my grandfather used to terrify me. He was a great man. He's no longer with us, but Grandpa Redmond, that's what his name was. And I remember I would always ask him for I would always ask him for the biggest nickel, which was the quarter. And of course, I got that from Poetic Justice. Love that movie. And I was not supposed to be watching it when I was watching it, but that's a whole nother story. But being around them, they didn't play. And they always had some type of wisdom to instill in us. And I remember my dad and my grandfather, they'd always get the newspaper. What would we do together? We would look at the funnies. We would then go through crossword puzzles together. They would tell us about their past. And it built just a natural level of love and respect for them. We are not doing that. When we are at grandma's house, and when we send our kids over there, guess what? Either they're young, so they're outside, or they say, give them their iPad, give them the phone. They have to realize that they need to pour into us too, and to pour into our babies, because what happened should never have occurred, because that was an adult. That is an adult. And that's not what you do. When you see an adult, it doesn't mean you have to say yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. My kids don't do that, but they absolutely say yes and no. We don't say, yeah, that was nipped in the bud at a young age. Parents are the first teachers, and that was never okay. So the expectation was set from birth. So they automatically knew that. And I thank God constantly. Teachers, parents, everyone say, oh my God, your kids are so mannerable. And it's not the yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. It's the yes. And we always say, look at people when you talk to them. How did they learn that? We modeled that. I'm looking at you, so you look at me. So I'm going to give you that respect, and I want you to give people that same respect. So that was from the conversations I had with them, the conversations we have together, but also from their grandparents and the people that do pour into them. Go to nursing homes. You can absolutely donate time to people that may not be a part of your family. You may say, I don't have a grandma or grandpa. There is someone out there, many of them that are in nursing homes that don't have people to come see them, that will love to have people come and pour into them. And that's just being a person, being a human, and giving back to the community and building those villages. So many people will love that if that occurred. Yes, that is a hope of mine, and I pray it does happen. I pray someone sees this and says, let me reach out to the nursing home, get a background check, and I would love to take my kids to play Connect Four, Uno, Spades, teach them some card games. Kids, that's automatic. You should know how to play a lot of different card games, but a lot of our kids don't. Why? Because no one is taking time to do it. Those things should occur. I knew how to play dominoes when I was young. I feel like I was 7, 8 playing dominoes. I don't know if that was illegal. It couldn't have been illegal because my dad taught me. But it was something we did together, and it occurred. And that needs to happen more often now. It's not happening enough. So we need our elders to help fix this, to help change this. Because clearly, next to the millennials and everyone in between those generations, we're the last ones that did not grow up with social media. So the last ones that knew about really supportive, natural connections. That's not what we have. We don't even date the same anymore. How are we dating? It's not when you walk up to someone, hi, how are you doing? I like the way you look. Can we talk? That doesn't happen. It's let me swipe, let me give you a like, and then I'll text you. That is not natural. That doesn't show, and you can't hear the inflection in someone's voice. You can't see them look shy when you're in front of them. You can't smile. You can't say, oh, I remember when I first met them, they looked this way, or it was a little twitch in the eye, or flipped the hair. None of that, because you're looking at a picture or somebody on FaceTime. And then you can show what you want to show or what you don't want to show. That's not real, because when you see them in real life and it's not the facade, which you assume to have wanted, then everything has changed. And now your feelings change. That's why we have these unrealistic expectations for people, because we see them online and we want this amazing portrait that was photoshopped. And when we don't get that photoshopped portrait in person, then, oh, wow, what is this? But I'm pretty sure that's the same thing with you. You're probably photoshopped too, but you have those unrealistic expectations for other people. So we're just single, and then we just keep swiping. It's an unrealistic cycle that has to stop. And someone has to be the one to say, let's do this. Let's change this. Let me try this. Let me fix this. Let me detox. Let me put a timer on my phone, because I know if I don't, I'll just doom scroll. Let me not check my phone as soon as I wake up. Let me not have the phone 2 or 3 hours before I go to bed. Let me be intentional about reading to my kids. Let me call my great aunt or my grandpa and grandma. Let me tell them I love them. Let me have a conversation with them. Let me ask about their lives when they were growing up. Let's talk about some current events. Let's dissect what hasn't happened, what should happen, what we need to change together. Let's learn to communicate and learn to reconnect so we can actually have a better future, because right now it's grim. It is extremely grim, but everything is figure outable, and we absolutely can't change it. But I can't be the only one to want change. So many people have to want it so bad that we start doing it. We start making change, and it starts with a choice. Every day you wake up, you have a choice. Every single day, you choose what to do to start your day, throughout your day, and how you end your day. But what you do, definitely your choices will dictate your life and the quality of your life moving forward.